Hi, welcome to the Fresh Perspective podcast. I'm Nikita.
And I'm Jessie.
Welcome to episode number 4. Look at us go.
Oh, was it episode number 4? I didn't even realize that.
I know.
Wow.
I just named it and I was like, oh, we've done pretty good so far.
We have. We're doing great. They just
We
get better
really
and better each episode.
Totally.
Yeah. Rolling in it. All right, would you want to tell us your exciting news?
I do. I have got a puppy.
Yay!
And she is adorable. However, she is the devil. Like, I'm not even kidding, that the actual devil. When she's sleepy, she's cute, but the face is all an illusion. She is pure evil.
Yeah, I feel like all puppies are like that, and kittens too. They're cute when they're asleep, and then they're awake and they're like a nightmare.
Yeah, literal. Oh my god, look at my wrist from the. Can you see the scar now? Oh, not scar, but.
Yes,
She basically
aggressive.
just stuck her fucking teeth in.
She's just trying to have some fun.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand.
She definitely needs a lot of stimulating. She's only like. We've only had her 3 days, maybe 4 now, but honestly, she's not shy. She isn't scared of anything. She's just a bit of a psycho.
Yeah,
but
and she
cute
knows that
and
house
fun.
is hers now.
Oh my god, does she ever? We're actually getting a dog trainer in on Thursday, so hopefully that'll help, because apparently she's like the dog whisperer of the Sunshine Coast.
Oh,
This
wow.
lady.
Fancy.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll help save our souls a bit.
I hope so. Yeah, I feel like that I remember when my dog was a puppy and she used to bite your ankles whenever you'd walk.
Yes.
The worst thing. And it lasted for like a good 3 months and you wouldn't be able to walk without her nipping at them. And I was like,
Yes. She's doing that, and I wear shoes inside because of my dodgy feet, and she goes for the shoes and the toes, and you'll be walking and like you'll kick her because you're walking and she just runs at your feet and you don't see her, and then you just kick her and you're like, oh my god, I'm sorry. But she
and then she just gets straight back up. Yeah.
They're so durable as puppies. Oh my god.
Yeah. Nah. She's a really cute puppy, and she's cute and chubby and fat. She's like
my
a
god,
little
I know.
ball.
If you want to follow her Instagram, it's at Raising Lil.
Adorable. Adorable.
Doing a little journey of raising her.
Of her growing.
Yes,
Seeing her
and if you
different
guys can
stages.
hear high-pitched crying in the background, that's her. And Nikita's having pet problems with her.
I have a dog on my lap, and I have a cat scratching at the door to come in, but I can't get up and leave, so she's just going to keep scratching and scratching. It's happening right now. It's dreadfully annoying, but I'm pretty sure it's not loud enough for anyone else to hear.
Yeah, I can't
It's
hear
just
it.
annoying me.
Mine's very suspiciously quiet.
Oh, that's not good.
Wonder if I should just check on her. But then I
That's
don't
not
want to
good.
open the door and she's... Oh, yeah, okay, give me 2 secs. Oh, no, there she is. She's crying. Okay, cool. We're fine. I was just like, what is she doing? Okay, well, puppy chats aside,
Yeah.
this week we are going to be talking about internships, because obviously we're both uni students and we don't want to make every episode about uni, but there are a lot of uni topics that we're passionate about, so every now and then there will be a uni one. And I think you can still relate even if you're not at uni.
Yeah, for sure. So today we're going to touch on internships, what internships we've done, why we think they're good to do, and just all the fun stuff about them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any... Yeah,
I do have a question leading into this.
please.
Have you done a paid internship at all?
God, no, I wish.
Yeah, me too. I was talking to someone and I said something about doing an unpaid internship, and they were like, oh, you don't do paid ones? They were like, I only look for paid ones. And I was like, I've never found a paid one in my life.
Yeah, and also you're less likely to get a paid one.
Yeah, exactly. They don't really want to
Actually,
pay.
I think, yeah, that's a good point to talk about, actually, because usually when you go for an internship, you know that it's going to be not paid.
Exactly,
Well,
because
I
you're meant
do.
to be getting the learning experience. That kind of is your pay, is getting experience in the industry.
Yeah, and I think what we've talked about in previous episodes is how when you do an internship, it's like, it's good in the fact that you can mess up and you're not as, you're still accountable, but like you can't get fired, or you can't get like, there's, obviously you want to be responsible, but it's like, because you're an intern, you're learning, so it's more acceptable for you to make mistakes, so there's less pressure on you for that.
Exactly.
You're not just thrown into something, whereas if it's paid, I feel like that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah. No, I think the only time where you would expect pay, I guess, is if it was every day of the week for 6 weeks. Because that's
Yeah,
kind of like a
totally.
massive chunk. If you worked, then your work would be gone. Like, I do get
Yeah.
that. But normal internships are it's like 1 day a week, or even if it's like online, like remote internships, I don't think there's any. Like, I wouldn't even ask for it.
No, I wouldn't think to. Although, yeah, I guess if someone offered, if it was advertised, then I would probably go for it. But
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like, yeah, people that are willing to pay interns must surely be like a bigger company. A lot of
Yeah,
people
for
see
sure.
interns as like free labor, so that's one of the
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the ways in, I guess.
Exactly.
And actually, my first kind of point that I wanted to touch on
Yeah.
was that, well, two things. The first is in the UK, and I think I've told you this before. In the UK, my cousin did a Bachelor of Business in marketing and I think event management.
Yeah.
And basically, with their uni, this could be wrong, but this is what I remember. So if you're from the UK, I'm sorry if this is wrong. But I'm pretty sure she did two years at uni. And then the third year, everyone has to go and find a work experience job for a year. And they work in that job for a year. They get paid a little bit. It's kind of like an entry, like a graduate pay probably.
Yeah.
And then after that year of work experience, they go back to uni for their final year. So it's like, yeah, you have an extra year on your degree, but it's like you're getting that experience is mandatory to do, which I think is so important.
Yeah, I
And a
do.
lot of them, yeah, like a lot of them end up getting hired at the end, so they have a job anyway. Like it's a good
Yeah.
stepping stone, but it's probably better to do a year with a company and like get that real experience and then go back and maybe like apply for a different job after you graduate just to mix it up a bit, like, and see different styles of the jobs.
Yeah, no, I think that's so good. I think a lot of people just underestimate the importance of internships
Yeah, I agree.
and just wait until it is like compulsory in those courses that you take in year 3 right at the end of your degree. They just wait until that point and then they're kind of just given whatever they get. And I just feel like I'm one of those people that likes to search around and see what I like first. Like, I don't want to go to one internship and then be like, oh yeah, like this is pretty good. Like, yeah, I like this. And then that become my job and not have gone to anywhere else. Like, I like to get the experience, like in agency, in-house, like mix it up,
Yeah,
go
definitely.
for different things.
Yeah, I think as well, like, you never know what the jobs actually entail until you do, like, work experience or an internship or a job in the field because, like, uni is good for some things, like the theory, and you learn a lot, but then you never know, like, you can't just go into a job and they expect you to know everything. So, yeah, like, the internships, I feel, are so important to just, like, learn what the actual jobs will be like.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what it is. Like, when you're sitting in a uni class, I feel like even the theory part sometimes, like, misses the whole point. Like, I know out of the stuff I've done for internships, I'm like, I've never learned that before. Or there's things I learned, I'm like, is this something I need? Is this something I'm going to need after?
Some lecturers say this is good to know and this is need to know. And I love those lecturers because I feel like a few of our ones that I won't name just give you so much shit to do. Like they'll talk on these topics each week and you're like, why is this relevant? This isn't relevant to the assessment. This isn't relevant to my degree. And I understand they have to fill it with content, but it's like I only have so much brain space. I'd rather it be need to know. And then if I have time, they could label the good to know stuff and I could go read that later or like in my free time.
I think that's so good. That's a much better way to do it, I think.
I know.
Makes way more sense. You know what you're doing. And then you can just, when there's so much to do, I don't know what to really focus on. So I only put like a little bit of effort or a little bit into each thing. Whereas if I had one main thing to focus on, I could give all my attention to the most important part. But they never tell you what is the most important. And you know it's not all of it. You know that everything you're learning is not all important.
I hate lecturers that don't give you like a priority list. Like that would make life so much easier if they were like, oh, these are the things that will probably be on the exam. And I'm not talking like you need to give us the answers or like the exact thing that's going to be on the exam, but give us a vague, like I like when they're like, okay, the exam's going to be on weeks 1 to 3's
yeah.
content, or
Yeah.
like, whereas like my friend's
I do
doing
love that.
occupational therapy, which is totally different because it's medical and sciencey, but her exam was literally like, it could be any of the topics we've covered over the 13 weeks, and there was like over 100 different topics, and she had to learn like
God.
200 definitions. Like, it was insane. And it's like,
Oh my God.
they could just spring any of the 200 definitions as a question.
That's
Like, it was
horrible.
just, yeah. So I do like appreciate when lecturers are
Yeah.
like, here's like, this is what it's probably going to be about, or like, here's 5 topics, one
Yeah.
of them will be on the exam, you know.
I do love that. It's super
Yes.
helpful as well. And then
Yeah.
you're not just wasting time looking at the wrong week. Like, you're not looking through all your weeks and being like, okay, I'll learn everything for week 2, and then it's got like nothing of week 2, and you only did a little bit of week 6 and it's all week 6.
Yeah. Oh my
It's the
God.
worst. I've done that before.
Yeah. And normally they give you like learning objectives, even like each week you have like, here's the 3 key takeaways of this lecture, of this week's content, and then you're like, cool, well, that'll probably be on the exam, like
Yeah.
bit of an overview. And the other thing I was going to say as well, kind of relating to the medical thing, is I find it interesting that teaching science and medical degrees, they all have mandatory experience. Like, you have to go and do placement. And you have to work in the job before you can graduate and stuff. So I don't understand why they don't do it for business. Like with the UK, why don't we do that? There should be at least, like, imagine if for 1 semester you had to go out and do an internship. I feel like that should be compulsory.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
agree. I know that for communications, majoring in PR, in 3rd year, 2nd semester, you have to do an internship, but it's only like the 12 weeks, and it's only 1 day a week. But
Yeah,
I
okay.
know a lot of other ones don't do that, and you have to choose that course on its own, and a lot of people don't do that at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it should be, like, you know how we all have to do Core 109, which for anyone that obviously doesn't go to our uni, it's basically that one subject that every person in the whole uni has to do, and it's shit like referencing and how to write a report, and just, it's pretty like basic, but
you
it's
do it
so
in your
boring.
first year.
Yeah, you have to do it to pass your degree, no matter what your degree is. So it's ridiculous. Everyone hates it. But I guess it's helpful. Like, I don't know. I didn't find it helpful personally, but
I did not. I think the only thing it helped me with was the fact that it was super like presentation based, and like you had to talk all the time, and being straight out of school when I hated talking in front of people, even though I was studying communication, I think it helped a lot because it was the first thing I did.
yeah,
And then
okay.
you had to get up and like talk in front of the class all the time and introduce yourself, which was so weird, but I think that it helped me in that sense. But the actual class with the referencing and that, not at all.
Yeah, the work was bizarre, hey?
I think I like just passed that class. A lot of people
I-
failed and had to do it again.
Yeah, because it's so simple. It's almost like it's like one of the assignments that I remember, it might have been different for you because you did it at a different time, but I had to write a report on the concept of feedback and the importance of feedback. And it's like, what? Like, it's taking something really simple.
I did that, yeah.
Yeah, and really basic, and making
Yeah.
it more complicated when you don't need to. It's like, instead of being like, oh, you guys, like, feedback's really important because of this, this, and this, it's like, go write a 2,000-word report
Yeah.
on the concept of feedback and use all these really dumb articles explaining
Yep.
feedback. And it's like,
It
what?
was really dumb. It was a waste of time.
Yeah, and I think a lot of
And-
people would have thought that, hence why they failed, because
Yeah.
it's just a ridiculous thing to put your time towards. It feels pointless.
For sure. It's not. Yes. So anyway, back to that point. What we're getting
Back
at
to that
is that
point.
uni doesn't teach you all the necessary things that an internship can. And it doesn't, it gives you theory based to some extent, but it's not enough experience to know what you need to do when you graduate.
Or what
And
you want
it's
to
not-
do.
Yeah. And it's not like getting, like, graduating, getting a job. It's not the fact that you don't know what you're doing. Because, sure, uni gave you some of that. But it's the fact of not knowing what it's like to work in the environment.
Yeah.
And to not know, like, it's super relaxed. And I feel like uni doesn't really give you that. Like every internship I've done, and I feel like you'll feel the same, is there's like, it's calm. Like you do all the work, but then like you'll have lunch breaks and you'll leave and you'll have a break from doing stuff. You can work from home. And it's a very different work environment to how uni painted is like 9 to 5 every day in your office.
Yeah, I think for me, like I always thought an internship, like, because I'm a very confident, extroverted person, but I do get really nervous when things are important to me. So I remember like when I had my first day of my internship, I was terrified and I was just like a nervous wreck. And then honestly, it was the most like chill day. Like I felt so excited and comfortable and I was like, oh God, I stressed for no reason. But it's just anything new, going into anything new, even if you're starting uni for the first time or going into like in high school, like going into a new grade, or like probably more like if you moved schools or something, I'd say like starting any new job, regardless of whether you go to uni, it's scary because you have no idea what to expect. Like it's terrifying. So it is. I think that's normal, but you do need to do the internship so that that's more of a thing that you're used to, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of have an expectation. Every place is different, but you've got the kind of expectation to know what it's like, rather than being that stressed out and that anxious on your first day of work. You can kind of be like, okay, I know it's similar to this, like, and then you're more prepared. You're like, this is what I'll probably need. I'll bring my laptop, I'll bring this, I'll bring that, get lunch, get a water bottle. Whereas I know like my first day of my internship, I did it like semester 1, year 1, and I had no idea what I was doing at all. I was like, I didn't take anything the first day because I just didn't expect it. I thought, oh, everyone will have a computer. I was like, I didn't know I had to bring my own computer.
Oh my God.
I was like, what? It was crazy. And I didn't bring my own, sorry, the cat's going crazy.
That's okay.
Like I didn't bring my own water bottle, so I didn't have water the whole day. And then I found out once I got there, they had a fridge that I could put food in. And I was like, this is amazing. They had a coffee machine. And I was like, what?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's little things like that, definitely, that you're like, oh God, like, do I bring lunch or will I be done? Is there a fridge? Do I bring a water? Like, you just don't know. I mean, always bring a water.
Yeah, well, do that.
So we've already kind of talked on a lot of the benefits, but I think personally, like, the main one is that you gain an insight into the kind of job that you want to do. And it's important, like, I think when I started doing marketing, I knew that I was interested in it because I never knew what I wanted to do as a job. And then I found marketing really interesting. So I was like, that could be fun. But I still had no idea what the job entailed. And for business and marketing especially, there's so many different jobs you can have. Like, I always thought of it as like 9 to 5 job, like working in an office where you had a certain amount of things you had to do, but it's not necessarily that. And a lot of the time it can be so different. Like, I think you need to work for different people just to get an insight. I had an opportunity to work for an insurance company when I went for my internship. The uni basically offered me like a few different jobs, or a few different companies that wanted an intern. And one of them was, this insurance company called UE. But the thing that I knew that I didn't want to work for like one company that just want you for marketing, because you're just constantly marketing their service or product, if that makes sense. So I knew that I found that boring because I'd already done freelance, and the idea of being a marketer with all different clients, that's what excites me, because I'm someone that needs something very different every day, very challenging, and I can't do the same shit every day. I get so bored.
I get that.
Yeah.
I think it's better as an intern and when you graduate as well to start off in agency anyway, like to start working in an agency, because you're able to, there's other people to rely on. Yeah. Because you're all kind of doing the same thing and you get the variety and it's a great learning curve. But I think after a while I'd like to go in-house and be like the only publicist or the only public relations person that's in there. Because I think that's kind of fun, but I think you'd need a lot of experience because it's a big job to do it on your own. Even if you're in like the marketing team, it's still a pretty big job because it's your responsibility. I like that an agency kind of like bounce ideas. There's a bunch of you. You get to do the different jobs. If someone else needs help, you can help them like in their little field. I love that part.
I like working as a team, like in the sense of you have like your, let's say for marketing, you have like your Instagram person, you have your Facebook person, you might have your Google Ads person, your content, like everyone has roles. So it's fun to work together in team meetings. Like I really like, if I own my own business eventually, I'd like to have like a big creative team where everyone has roles.
Yeah. No, I like that too. Yeah, that's the part I like, because you're able to just like learn from one another too, and learn the different categories and learn the different parts that you can do. Like you might learn Google Ads soon. You just get to mix it around. Then that company can offer so much more in one, because you're all specializing in one thing. And then you all know so much more.
Yeah, and when there's multiple people doing multiple things, you're stretching them a bit. And, like, it can be good. Like, if people are good at multiple things, that's awesome. But I think in, like, this industry, PR and marketing, people expect you to be everything. Like, when I was freelancing, I had clients being like, oh, you can do my Instagram, but could you also build me a website and do my SEO and, like, edit my photos for me and take photos for me and like also do my Facebook ads and maybe put me on Google ads? And it's like, whoa, like I'm one person, bro. You know, like.
No, I'm not. I like that you can also just choose one thing to specialize in. Like it gets so broken down. So you can do social media. Then you can just specialize in Instagram. Then you can just specialize in Instagram analytics and just focus on that stuff for someone. Which I know to like clients, it sounds a bit like, why would I want so many different people for so many different things? But I feel like it's good to have someone that you know is so good at that one part.
And I think, you know, if I had a company and I had all these people for different roles, I wouldn't have like, I'd have one person or maybe I would be the person that like managed them. So the clients would probably come through me, but so they're not hearing from all these different people. They know I have a team, but they don't really care for like, it's not going to be like 3 people emailing them about one person's like, hey, this is how your analytics are going, and another person being like, hey, here's your photo shoot things, and like, because they'd be overwhelmed. So you have,
and then it gets confusing.
So you wouldn't necessarily have that, but I think it's important with the internship thing to work out, because like if I hadn't freelanced, I wouldn't have known what place I wanted to go with more, I guess. So the internship, you might get options or you might have to find your own. But I think it's important to do your research and think about like where you would want to work out of. So if you have 3 options, definitely research each of the companies and try to kind of imagine what it would be like doing those jobs. And usually they give you a bit of a description about like what they want from the interns. So you can kind of decide on that. Or if you're choosing your own, try to find a company or a few companies that you really like what they do and kind of maybe see what services they want and then choose it based on what interests you the most, so you can try all these different roles out.
Yeah, for sure. I like to just reach out to people that don't want an intern, and then just really sell myself and tell them how I can really help them, and find something on their website that speaks to me, find their mission, their values or something, add that into the email, tell them why I want to help them, what I think I could do, what I could gain from the experience. And then usually they want that because they see the passion that you have, because you've taken so much time to look through the website, find all this stuff, and communicate to them and take time out of your day without them posting something saying, we want an intern.
Yeah.
And then just applying on a form, you reaching out, they're super open to it. Even if they don't really want one, they're able to talk to you about a way that they can make it work with you. It's a lot easier when they are remote like that. I find it hard to reach out. I've tried several times to like PR companies that are in Brisbane, but they're a lot harder because you can't do it remote. So to them, it's taking up a lot more of their time. Whereas the way I do it remote, like overseas, like New York, because it's remote, to them it's a lot easier because they've got an overwhelming amount of stuff. They'll email it to you just to say, hey, could you help me with this? You send it back to them and they're like, oh, like that was really easy. Whereas I feel like a lot of people think that you coming in as an intern into the workplace makes it hard for them because they think they have to like look after you a lot.
Yeah.
And I think you should try to find someone that does want to mentor you and help you through it. I don't think you should just reach out to any random place that's near you and say, hey, do you want me? And they're like, oh, like, I don't know if we'll have time for you, but come in. If they're not going to have time to mentor you and help you, it's probably not going to gain you a lot anyway.
Yeah, or them, really.
So you kind of want someone that will help you.
Yeah, no, I think that's really impressive that as an 18-year-old you did that, because if I owned a business and I had an 18-year-old, or anyone, any age really, but the fact you're 18 is, well, that you were 18 is more impressive, because I would be like, damn, this girl's come out of high school, she's first year uni, and she's she's gone to all this effort and then put the initiative in to find all this stuff out about my company, and has reached out wanting to help out. Like, why wouldn't they take you on? You know what I mean? Like, it shows such a good initiative. So honestly, I find that really impressive, because most people your age would just not even think of that, or not
just wait until it
they
comes,
do the bare minimum. And that's another thing about the internships thing that I think is important, is like, if you're at uni to do the bare minimum, then you won't give a shit about internships. Like, you wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah, no.
But
I think it's all about the drive. That's what I think we're getting at.
Yeah.
Is just being, if you're passionate about what you want to do, then you need to put that effort in and have that drive to want to learn early and want to gain the experience.
And it's so good to do it.
If you're not, then...
Yeah. And it's so good to do it whilst you're at uni, because you're learning all these concepts and skills, and then you can apply them in the internship, because you're actually working with one. So...
Or if you're a little confused about something you've learned, you can kind of like bring it up and say, hey, like, do you know something about this? And they help you a lot more than going up to a lecturer where they're going to tell you again in a theory-based way.
Yes, whereas when you can apply it, it's more you think. And even like, I've had an exam before where that's something I'd done in even just freelancing, like, and then I had an exam on a concept, but because I'd applied it practically, I could answer the question better because I'd actually physically done it. And it was such like I honestly think you should try to do an internship, like one internship a year, if not every semester, which is so intense. Like, I get that not everyone has time for it, but even if you just do one a year.
It's so worth it.
You also just,
they're so worth it.
You get so much confidence, because then a lot of the time, like when I went into my internship, it was like my third year. So I was like, oh, I still don't feel like I know enough. Like, I don't feel like I can necessarily do this, or that I'm skilled enough, or that you know what I mean? But then as soon as I started being given tasks, it just kind of clicked, and like, I was like, oh shit, like I'm good at this. Like, I can do this. It's not until you're forced into it, like chucked in the deep end, that you're like, oh damn, like, I didn't know I could do that.
It's such a good confidence boost.
It is.
When you're like doing something. I know I'm in a lot of like PR Facebook groups, and some girl from London asked like what she should do to get an internship. And I sent her a message and just said, oh, just like reach out and see what happens. And that was about 2 months ago maybe. And we talk almost like every day now. And she got an internship with a publicist called Lindsay. And she just works for her company now remotely, because the company's in LA, I think, and she's in London. So they work remotely, and she gets to do like all the fun stuff. She'll reach out to influencers, and it's really hands-on, which I love. I haven't had one that is that hands-on. I'm a little bit jealous, but it's okay. But it's so amazing to see what she does, and she'll get all these emails like every day. She'll always send them to me, and Lindsay's always like, amazing job, like you've done wonderful, I can't believe you're doing this, like you're amazing, you're better than the people I've got, like good job. And it's just such a good confidence booster, because you're like, I can do this.
Yeah, that is. And like, you know, as well, if you do really well for them, hopefully they do want to hire you, because even if you worked for them casually while you were at uni, that's earning money, getting experience, and you've done, like, it's all just good for you and good for them. Like, you've got a job, you've got experience, you've got the skills, like, and
and if you don't get a job out of them in the end, if they don't have the time for you or the room for you, then it's a great like reference, like the testimonial that they can write for you that you can then use later on, that people can reach out to them, they can ask them,
and it's
just super important. It's all about the networking.
Yeah, exactly.
We all know how I feel about that.
Networking, yes. And
super important.
It's experience still. It's still a learning curve. And then you can go for another internship, and you have that experience of the last internship to help you with that one. So then you impress them. Like, you don't always have to like aim for a job at the end. I know, like, For me, I really wanted a job with my internship because they were just so, like, I got along with them. I liked the work culture. I liked the work. So for me, it was like, this feels right. Like, I want to work here.
And you know that it's not like a forever thing, but right then in that moment, it felt right.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it feels right, you should just go for it.
Yes.
Rather than get in the moment and think, oh, but do I want to get a bit more experience before I decide?
Yeah.
Like, if you know that you like it, I think you made the best decision. I think definitely go for it. You know that you're not going to be there forever. It could be like a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it lasts. And then you can go see something else.
Definitely.
But that opportunity might have been gone. And then what if you graduated and there was nothing?
Exactly. And I think people think they'll finish their degree, graduate, and then be offered all these jobs. But honestly, like, if you having an internship, even in your last semester, is such a good transition into the job world, because whether they hire you or not, it's like you shouldn't see it as like, oh, when I graduate from then, that's when I look for jobs. Like, people really leave it because they think, no, I can't do both. But it's like, you can. You really can.
If you want to, you definitely can.
100%. On this point of, like, internships, let's talk about briefly, like, people that have the whole idea of, like, P's get degrees, because I feel like that relates. You know what I mean? Like,
it does.
and for anyone who isn't in Australia, because I don't know how it works in, like, American unis or the UK unis or wherever you are in the world, I don't know how your uni grading system works, but ours is like a P is a pass, so it might be like C for you, I don't know.
And that's 50%.
Yes. So you've literally scraped in. It's basically like you've just passed. And if you get anything under that, it's a fail. So people have the attitude of P's get degrees. So if you scrape in with the 50%, you still pass, so you still get your degree. So the whole attitude behind it is basically what we were saying before, how people just are like happy to do the bare minimum, scrape by, and think that they'll still get a job and they'll still get the same thing. I actually dated a guy who had the attitude of that, and he would like study the night before an exam. He would hand stuff in the day of, like start the assignments the day of, just bullshit them and do pretty badly, but still, like, overall he would get at least 50% sometimes. And I just found that attitude so bizarre. And he would always say to me, like, why do you care about getting, like, the highest mark? Like, if you got the lowest mark, you still get that. We both still get a piece of paper. And I was like, yes, but
that's such an annoying mindset,
right? But the benefits of you doing well is, like, first off, with the internship thing, for our uni, you have to have a good mark. You have to have good grades to be able to do an internship, because they don't want to give people, like, companies don't want to hire students that are, like, getting shit grades, because they want someone, they want someone they know will put the effort in and do good work. So that's one important part. You need to be, like, applying yourself.
For sure.
Yeah, and then also you need to, like, the other benefits of doing it, like, I personally applied for scholarships because I was like, you know, you get those emails and it's like, oh, there's so many scholarships and blah, blah, blah. And, like, they always say, like, no one actually applies to scholarships, which is so bizarre. But you always think to yourself, like, oh, I have to be, like, so smart to get a scholarship. But right? And so many people don't apply. And they always say every year that there was heaps of scholarships that weren't applied for, so they didn't go to anyone. So I just applied for all these scholarships, was like, maybe I'll get one, who knows? And I ended up getting one. And I don't know if it's because there was just no one else, but, like, I had all the requirements and it was so helpful. So,
I wanted a scholarship. I, like, always go to apply to them all the time because I know no one goes for them.
Yes.
And it always gets to the part where it's, like, parents' finance situation.
Yeah.
And then, like, like, the way that they, like, spread it out, like, your finance and everything, it always, like, messes with my head. I'm so confused. Like, my mum helped me fill it out once and I was like, because then they're like, the money's, like, split up weird and it's too much. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And then every time I get so sad because my friend got one, she got, like, $1,000 one, and I was like, oh, damn it. I feel like I'm committed this semester.
Yeah, I hate when it's, well, I don't hate it, but it's like the low income ones are great, but a lot of the time people get them if, like, their parents are divorced, which is like, you know, their parents could have divorced when they were, like, 1, and they've only ever known their parents divorce, and their life's fine. Like, they're not affected. They prefer that. And then they have 2 sets of parents giving them money so they're like better off than us, and yet they are seen
Yep.
as a low income because they can only go off one parent, which is so
That's
unfair.
like youth allowance
Yes.
from Centrelink,
Yeah.
which is for university students
Yeah.
in Australia. I every time I go to apply, my parents earn too much money, and I'm like,
Same.
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we're earning too much. But it's always divorced parents. It's always
Yeah.
like that.
And it's unfair because it's like my parents were always over the threshold of like if they earn too much, but it's like, yeah, they earn too much over the threshold, but that doesn't mean they can afford to pay for my life. Like,
Exactly.
Especially if I moved to Brisbane and I live in the Sunshine Coast, but so for anyone that doesn't live in like our area, it's basically like an hour and a half drive to Brisbane. So I had to move there straight out of school because I went to this one uni that only offered this particular course I was doing. So I had to live at a home, obviously, and I couldn't get any money from the government to help out because
So annoying.
my parents earned too much, even though I didn't live with them, even
And
though they
exactly,
can't afford
and
that.
They don't, just because they're earning so much money doesn't mean that they're just going to give that to their child. Like, they shouldn't have to.
I understand the concept, but I don't think it's executed well. And
I think a lot of people exploit it because they know they can.
Yeah, and so many people I know both have like rich parents that are divorced, but both their parents do pretty well, but that like neither of them alone are over the threshold. So then they get the money still, and it's like they're getting literally an allowance from their parents, each parent, and then Centrelink, and you're like, wow.
Yeah. Back to that topic of P's get degrees, actually.
Yes, please. Keep us on track.
Yeah, I think another issue with that is when they put a lot of effort in task 1 and task 2, and then they know that they've passed the course. So then task 3 is usually an exam or a big report or something. They're like, oh, I don't have to do like too much effort because I've already passed, so it's okay. That's the one that annoys me the most, is when you've put so much effort in and then you just let it go at the end. And I'm like, why would you put so much effort in? Like, if you don't want to put any effort in and you want to get like a pass, whatever, that's your own thing. But if you've put all this effort in to get a great grade the whole like beginning half of the semester, and then at the end you just stuff it up because you're like, oh, I'll just like do the bare minimum and then I'll still have passed. Like, I'll get 68, that'll be enough. And I'm like, but you could have got so much higher if you put more effort in.
I know. I think for people like us who care so much, like personally, I put 110% into everything I do. And if I don't, I obviously don't care about it, or like I disappoint myself. I'm like, I did this, my internship course, it was like a subject and I had to do assignments for it, but they were pass or fail. So I could have done the bare minimum, but I still put 100% in. And I got an email from them being like, oh, like, this is like a HD level, but like, you know, you only had to pass. And I was like, oh, I'm a flawed human.
Just please give me some more.
Yeah. And the guy that I said I dated who didn't care, he literally, he had his final exam, which is obviously like your third task. And he decided just to not go, because if he didn't show up and failed the exam, he still would pass the course, which is stupid. Yeah. People look at it as like, oh, well, I've already got 50% from the last 2. I don't need to show up for the exam. Imagine having that mindset.
I can't.
We're the kind of people who just can't deal with that.
Yeah, that's... why?
Yeah.
So much money, so much time. Why?
And I also think if you do put heaps of effort in, you get like the lecturers and the tutors, like all the uni people that teach you, see you as someone that's doing well and putting the effort in, and they will give you opportunities. Like a few of my lecturers have sent me clients, have sent me opportunities being like, hey, I've got this company that need this done. Do you want to do it? And it's like experience on your resume. Sometimes it's paid. Like I've had paying clients given to me by lecturers, and they just see you as someone to rely on and effort.
Good networking.
Exactly. And then when you own your own business later on, maybe they'll send you clients then, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just
they'll
so
always
many
remember
benefits.
you. I think I'm one of those people that always emails my tutors and my lecturers all the time. Like if I know I'm not, like I was away on Friday, so I knew I wasn't going to my first week class, and I thought, oh, it's probably not that important because it's probably just going to be like an intro class. And then I went on, and it happened to be the one class where we were picking like clients for our assignment.
Oh God,
as if
I did
so
that
then
one year.
So then I emailed her and I just I asked her if I could bring my client over from our last course for social media. And she was like, yeah, sure. And I just had this massive chat. And I just always say, like, I'm so excited to be doing this course, like, blah, blah, blah. And they just get so
Yeah.
happy about it. And I just email them, like, all these questions. And if there's ever, like, a task to do right at the beginning, like, now that we're online, we have to, for one of my courses, we have to write on the discussion board to introduce ourselves. And normally
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's so weird and embarrassing. But now I'm like, no, because if you're one of the first people, you've put so much effort in.
Yeah.
And, like, there's people that she's asked now, like, 15 times to do it. And they're not going to do it because they don't care.
Yeah, and I
And I'm
think
like,
you just
want to be
stand
in
out.
the good books.
You have to kiss a bit of ass, and you also just have to really seem keen and eager, and if they see you as reliable, keen and eager, and you're top of their mind, then then they're going to give you opportunities and benefits and
Yeah, for sure. It's also, you kind of want to be seen.
Yes.
You might not think this normally, but you want to be seen, like, at uni as, like, a teacher's pet. That's what you want to be.
Yes.
You want students to be like, oh my God, she's really annoying. She's really kissing us. And you're like, yes, I am.
See, I think I can do that subtly. Like, I kiss to the teacher, I kiss us, and they see me as like someone that's relied on. But I don't think you have to be like the teacher's pet. Like, I think you
don't
can
have
do
to
it.
love them.
No, like, I think, honestly, contributing to class discussions, like, a lot of people the first and second year, and even third year, don't even talk in class. And when you actually get involved in the class discussion, it's really enjoyable because you get so much more out of it. You bounce ideas off people. And I personally, like, always look up to the people who talk because I'm like, they're so confident and, like, they really know what they're doing. And I've had people message me on social media being like, oh, hey, you're in this class of mine, and I found it really interesting what you said and really, like, inspiring that you could talk up and be confident. Like, can we catch up, or, like, can we work together on an assignment, or, you know what I mean? And, like, even
Is
just,
that
like...
me? Sending you
No,
that?
no, we didn't meet in the class, did we?
Nah.
But, like, our relationship was because, I guess, I posted in the discussion board and you saw it and were like,
And I had no idea who you were in the class.
yeah, exactly. So how wild.
I was like asking my friend, I was like, which one is she?
Yeah, same. Like, I had no idea who you were. But
No.
it's interesting. Like, yeah, it's another way to make friends. Like, I think you just
Yeah.
need to be confident enough to speak. It can be really scary. And, like, even me as an extrovert and as an outgoing person, I struggled in my first few years because if you don't have a friend in the class, like, or speaking in the lecture is so scary because there's, like, hundreds of people. And you're like, ooh, but you just need to do it. If you have an idea, share it. Like, I think, you know, it's good.
And I like when, firstly, a lecture reminds you that, like, there's no wrong answer or something. But then also when someone else says something, they put their hand up and they're, like, confident enough to speak. But then they're, like, you discuss it and they're kind of wrong. But no one ever says, like, oh, you were wrong.
That's
always,
a
like, say it
stupid
in a nice
question.
way.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you're like, why don't I just say what I'm thinking then? Like, what's it
Yeah.
going to do? Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah,
no
and
one's going
actually-
to laugh and point at you. For being
No,
dumb.
and actually one time, I think it was my second year, it was like, no, it must have been my first year because it was an intro. You know how you have to do a certain amount of, well, for business, you have to do like intro to accounting, intro to informatics, intro to analytics, intro to like all the different business ones.
Yeah.
And I was doing intro to economics, which I thought I would hate because I hate maths. I suck at maths.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
But it was such a cool subject. It was about like society more so. And there was this one class where she was talking about sugar tax and how they put taxes on cigarettes and on should they put it on sugar, blah, 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 and should they tax the consumer because they're buying something that's bad for them. And I was just thinking the whole time that everyone's having a discussion. It was a bit scary to talk. But then I put my hand up and I was like, why would they tax the consumer? Why don't the government tax the company for putting sugar in things? Because they're the ones putting the bad thing in it. They should have to pay the tax.
Yeah.
And she was like,
yeah.
I was waiting for someone to say that. And like the praise I got for just like thinking, this is probably a stupid thing to say, but I got mad about like the fact that why should we have to pay for them poisoning us, basically.
Yeah. They're doing,
And she just gave me so much praise. I felt so good. I ended up getting like the best marks in that class. She emailed me and said I should do a minor in economics. I was like, what?
No.
So you just never know. Like, just speak up.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It could be awesome.
And then that grows your confidence for the rest of that semester. I had that one class last year. And just like when you start talking and then people praise you, like people are like, oh yeah, that's a good point. And then you're just like, oh, shit, that was a good point. And then you just keep talking.
Yes.
And even if it's a bad point, like I said, no one's laughing at you. Like, you have a discussion and you're like, oh, I see, like, the other side now. Yeah, that makes more sense.
And everyone's so scared to say something that when you say something, they're not thinking about what you've said. They're thinking about how scared they are to talk. And so because you've talked, they're like, oh, damn. You know what I mean? Like, no one's thinking,
like, good, I don't have to
she's
speak
an idiot. Yeah,
they're like,
exactly.
No, she spoke, I don't have to. You know, and like the tutor's like stares and like, anyone want to answer? And then everyone's like, not me.
Yeah. And
one
another
person
thing
talks,
is
no one
like,
cares.
yeah. And another thing is like when you are kind of sucking up to the lecturer, or not even sucking up, but when you're contributing to the class discussion and they do notice you, and you're happy to ask them for help because you build that relationship with them. So many students don't bother asking them for help. So you're literally someone they recognize, someone they know, someone they're always willing to help because you're always contributing to their class and you're always asking them for help, contacting them, communicating with them. So they're always going to be happy to help you. And they probably have so much free time to help you because I doubt many other people are asking them for help, you know?
Yes, it's very true.
And I just think, why not? So put in the effort, guys. And if you're doing a degree where you're not sure what kind of job you want, go apply for some internships. Ask your uni how you can get an internship, or just look at some companies you would think you would want to work for and get in touch with them, like just Nikita said.
Reach out and see what happens.
Yeah.
The worst they can do is say no.
Exactly. And you don't have to do it face to face. You can email.
No, exactly.
So you have nothing to lose.
The good thing, actually, adding to that, is when you email them and they reply and say yes, you're able to have the time to then email to find out more about what the internship is, rather than calling them or something, them being like, oh, yeah, cool. And then you being like, oh, I'm starting. Or going into, like, a company and asking them, being like, yeah, you can start. And then not knowing what you're doing. So emailing, you're able to get a little bit more info. And you might take a bit longer to reply because you're thinking about what you want to do, but they don't know that. You're just busy.
Exactly. And again, I just want to reiterate the point of having networking, having all these people to vouch for you. Even the lecturers that we talked about, kissing ass, you have all those lecturers, if you ask them for a reference, they're more than happy to do it. Whereas if you were someone in the class, they didn't even know your name because you never spoke or never asked them for help, they're not going to know who you are, so they're not going to be able to give you a reference. Whereas if you put all that effort into sucking up, asking for help, talking to them, contributing to class discussions and showcasing your intelligence and your abilities, then they're going to write you a glowing recommendation. Yes. So that's all just so important.
And just go to networking events even. If you don't go to uni and you're listening to this and you want to get out there, change what you're doing, get some experience or something, go to networking events and just talk to people. It's so helpful. I mean, if you just are a uni student, it's super... People love when you go there and you say, oh, I'm a first year uni student, or I'm a second year, or I'm a third year. No matter what year you are at uni, people are like, wow, that's so impressive.
Yeah, they do find it really impressive.
They do.
Yeah, definitely.
And it doesn't take that much time out of your day at all. Some cost money, but I've actually been to a few that are free. If you look around, if you're passionate enough, you'll find it.
And again, ask your lecturers, ask people at uni. A lot of lecturers suggest their networking events that they do, or you just ask around, join some societies, put all the effort in you can, and also just Google events near me, networking events near me, business groups if you're a business degree, and even local community boards on Facebook. People post on there. There's so many opportunities. You just have to look.
Finish this off by saying 2 great companies that do networking events. Minding Her Business is fantastic. They travel everywhere, so you kind of have to wait till they're near you. And Ladies local, Up Co is great.
Oh, cool. Ladies Up Co. All right, I'll give them a follow.
They're good.
Awesome.
Good. She also has a podcast as well, Ladies Up Co.
Okay,
it's good
cool.
stuff. Got to look that up.
Okay, well, we're going to have to wrap this up because I have a puppy that probably needs to pee.
Probably, yeah. That won't be fun to walk in on.
No, it really won't. So thanks for listening, everybody.
Yes, thank you. I hope this was super helpful. This is one of our favourite topics to discuss because we're very passionate about putting effort in and seeing results.
Yeah, and I think just the more you put in, the more you will get out of anything in life. So it's a really good example for this.
It is, for sure. So we will speak to you all next week. Have a fantastic week and let us know in the comments if you've got any advice or anything for an internship, or if you've had an internship and how it helped you, anything like that.
Yeah, and make sure you follow all our socials.
Yes.
They will be linked in the podcast notes.
Yeah, show notes.
Show notes?
Yep.
We're new to this. And make sure you rate our podcast, pretty please. 5 stars.
Yes, please. Please do that. Let more people see us, hear us, get to know us.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening, guys.
Thank you. Bye.